head and that yolk is running down. It's running freaking down.
This is just awesome.
We'll cue the intro right there, the intro song. No introduction, just... welcome back, everyone, to another episode of your favorite movie podcast. It is Saturday morning, actually.
Oh.
And I'd like to bring back Hunger Sprung, but rebranded as Swell or Shell.
That's worse.
That is tangentially worse.
3 out of the 4 of us in this room, we have a new camera woman here, Zoe. We're at a party last night, a Christmas party, so I feel like it's appropriate use. You look surprisingly swell.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm a little hung.
A little shell, you mean?
Or a little shell, but not as much as I normally am. So that's a positive today.
Give us your out of 10 score of shell. How shell are you?
Like a 4P2.
4P2?
Not P. Dude, there's some fuzzies on this and they're going right up my nose. Wait, are you wearing that the whole time?
Yeah. Can't see the monsters.
Wait, can you see through it at all?
No. I can see like Sandra Bullock does in the movie. Like I can see like light.
You can see light.
A little bit of light.
You know there's light in here.
I know there's light in here, yeah.
Okay. I was slightly hung. I only got like less than 6 hours of sleep last night, so...
Yeah, ditto.
It's going to be an interesting one. Rate coherence on this episode at a scale of 1 to 10. I doubt we breach 5.
Yeah, I kind of have a little bit of tinnitus going on too. I think I hear like there's like ringing in my ears.
Did you go to a concert recently?
Nope.
Did you hit your head hard on the mountain yesterday?
Not hard.
Ooh,
but I have had a headache for the past like 24 hours.
No.
He's concussed.
Real?
I don't know.
So, did you go snowboarding yesterday, Dennis? How was that?
I did go snowboarding. It was fun and cold. And it was ice, dude. We were like ice skating the entire time. It was so bad.
We're not giving you an exception for a concussion.
True.
That's why you wore the blindfold.
Yeah, it's to keep all the light out.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Letterboxd. I'm Matt.
I am Dennis.
I'm Zach.
And you're listening to the movie podcast by Cat Dads with shitty movie takes.
We gotta delete that.
Okay.
Get out. Get the fuck out. All right, very swell. Did you guys watch any content this week that you'd particularly like to discuss?
I actually didn't watch anything this week. I've been grinding Death Stranding, the video game.
Walking the video game?
Walking simulator.
Package delivery simulator.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
Why do you like it so much?
It's just a vibe. Like, and the story is like so sick. You get like more cutscenes, more story than you think you would. And like, I don't know, there's something about like the planning that goes into like planning your routes. Like, it's a very like social game too. Like, you like can leave stuff behind for other players to help on your routes. I don't know.
They can't with him.
Is there actual Monster Energy in that game too, I think?
Yeah, actually. Well,
so that's why you're drinking that today?
I have the director's cut version of the game, and they actually had to rebrand, so it's a different energy drink in the version I'm playing. But
that's so interesting.
At one point, yeah, it's funny how he's chugging monsters when he goes back to home base.
So there's a director's cut of a video game. Doesn't that just tell you that the video game's a movie?
Well, no, they do that. Like,
I mean, they essentially are. I mean, it's just like
doesn't-
any other form of media. Like, there's going to be
It's
some
just
shit
like-
that gets cut out based on the desires of the studio.
well,
or
no,
whatever, right?
no, that's not. Director's cut is just like them trying to be cool. It's really just
Oh.
the enhanced version.
So it's cap.
It's just like it's another word for remastered.
So this is where we show a picture of
Lame.
Hideo Kojima with the cap on.
Enough.
I slandered your god one too many times. Okay. Death Stranding. Nothing for you, Dennis?
Not that I can recall. No, it's been a busy week.
I know Zach saw my review, my passionate review about one of my recent watches. But I have a lot to... I'll say that one for last. So, since Primer, I've watched Boy and the Heron, the new Studio Ghibli.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I'm officially not compatible with those movies.
Yay! Finally.
It's just...
admitted.
Well, what do you mean? We watched Spirited Away and we gave it like a fucking 4.
Bad score. Yeah.
We're just happy you made progress and come to terms with something.
No, I
that
want you-
maybe not a lot of people are comfortable saying.
Yeah, I want you to stop watching those. Is what I'm getting at.
Oh, I am now.
Yeah.
That's
why I said yeah.
I just needed to get one more under the
Oh,
belt to
fair
confirm. I'm sure a lot of people will like it. A lot of people say it's probably pretty good. Eileen with Anne Hathaway and Thomasin McKenzie. I feel like you'd like this a lot, Zach. It is a neon distributed film. I gave it 4 stars. It has 3.4 on Letterboxd. I think that's capped. Thomasin McKenzie did really well in that. Anne Hathaway plays like a little mysterious, intriguing prison psychologist that helps Eileen find herself, if you will. And then I watched Wonka.
Yes.
Don't watch Wonka.
I don't even know why you watched that.
Oh, no.
Well, Gabby wanted to see it, and I was like, whatever. And I literally just go read my... If you want to see my thoughts on that, go click on the Letterboxd link and find your way to my page.
Did you get like a 2-second opinion on it?
Bad. Real bad.
Any reason?
It made
Timothy
him mad.
Chalamet should not have been cast in that role.
Okay.
It's not even him. It's the problem. It's like who decided to cast him. Like he should have been smart enough to not take the role, I feel like.
Yeah, true.
It's just... I put in my review, I'm like, the only motherfucker crazy enough to fill Gene Wilder's shoes is Johnny Depp, and no one should have tried again.
So he didn't have any whimsy.
It was just like so forced. It was like Timothy Chalamet in a Wonka costume.
Weird. Yeah.
And it had no nostalgia factor. So that was like a big, until the last scene. And I was like, I wish the whole movie was like this.
But was there candy?
Was there children murder?
Yeah. Yeah, was it like half horror movie?
There was basically slavery. So.
Well, that's been
Take that how you will.
Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder.
Yeah, true. Different kind of slavery in this one.
Was there Oompa Loompas?
There was one single. Oh,
Are you kidding
There was
me?
like 5 Loompas, but one. Hugh Grant is the Loompa, the Oompa Loompa.
That's all I need to hear.
Yeah, but don't watch it, or do, and then you can share in my misery. Okay. Should we talk about what we watched this week?
We should talk about what we watched this week.
We watched Dennis's Pick.
Dennis's Pick. We threw it back to 2018, the pop culture phenomenon that I felt like took the world by storm, and everybody was on board with this funky ass movie because I think it was like one of the maybe first like Netflix originals that really caught wind.
True.
Bird Box. I can recall this very clearly because it was like a famous movie, and everybody was like, it was like kind of in the same vein as A Quiet Place, a horror adventure thriller with a unique premise. You have to totally remove one of your key senses in order to survive in this world. A Quiet Place was sound. You had to not speak or really make any noise in order to survive. And in this one, you cannot see or else you'll die. Famous movie. Everybody's seen it by now, I bet. So I feel like you guys really want to do too much spoiler censoring or...
Slow your roll there, buddy.
Oh, I'm
we
so
gotta
excited.
we gotta lay the land here.
Okay.
So everyone's probably seen Bird Box. We probably don't have too much land to lay, if you will. But came out in 2018. Dennis, did you happen to have a in your brain, perhaps not, instead of notes that you can't read, a lay of the land of 2018 culture backdrop? Apparently not.
Donald Trump was making a meteoric rise to fame, and there's a little Easter egg in the movie about that in his presidential campaign.
He was 2 years into his presidency at this point.
Oh, really?
Pal.
True.
All right. Well, Dennis, whenever you wake up and can remember what happened in 2018, let us know. The synopsis for this. 5 years after an ominous, unseen presence drives most of society to suicide, a survivor and her 2 children make a desperate bid to reach safety. Very intriguing, if you ask me, personally. Directed by Susanne Bier, who did The Undoing. Have you guys seen that on Max? It's a good short.
No, sir.
Like a 6-episode limited series. The Night Manager and After the Wedding. Those latter 2 I've not heard of or seen. Starring Sandra Bullock as Mallory. You might know Sandra Bullock from Speed, The Blind Side, Miss Congeniality, TV show. I didn't even know she was... I guess that's kind of like where she became pretty popular.
Gravity
also. Trevante Rhodes plays Tom. He was in Moonlight, which I did not know. And Predator as well. Zach, you've seen Predator, I assume?
I don't like Predator.
Do you remember?
Like a newer Predator?
Like the...
Predator.
Which Predator?
I heard the name.
There's a bunch of stupid
Yeah, he's a
ones.
young guy.
The remake that they did...
Yeah, I think it's the most recent
Yeah, it's
remake.
trash. No, I didn't even see that.
Confirming this one.
Yeah.
2018.
Shane Black, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The trash.
Wait, who did he play?
Certified trash.
He played Nebraska Williams.
Hell of a name.
Yeah. And then we also have John Malkovich
Yes.
playing Douglas. John Malkovich is in a movie called Being John Malkovich, which I think is so weird. And
I've
crazy.
almost picked that movie. I think we're going to do that one day.
Yeah. Have any of you guys seen that?
No.
And then Places in the Heart, he won an Academy Award for that. So, popular one for him. So, initial thoughts. I guess I'll start this one off. So, I'm a huge shit talker. If a movie has less than a 3 on Letterboxd, then oftentimes I won't even consider watching it. This movie has a 2.8. I saw this back in 2018, and I didn't remember it being particularly bad once Dennis, picked that it's a movie, and I saw the score, and I was like, oh, that seems low. And after rewatching it, I still agreed with my past self. This was actually it's not bad. It's not like the best movie ever. I think it has a little bit of an identity crisis on whether it's going to be like silly and it's like giving This Is the End vibes at the beginning with like everyone in the house and just like stupid shit happening. We have Machine Gun Kelly for some reason.
Oh, that's who that was? That's funny.
Yeah.
I always love remembering that he's in this movie for no
I know. I was
reason.
like, what the fuck?
Wait, isn't this based off a book?
Yes. 2014
Matt didn't even
novel.
take a note on that.
You know what? Did you take a note?
I
It's
just
based
told
by a
you.
2014 novel of the same name.
That's huge.
I know. I
That
should have read the
completely
book.
changes our context. of-
Fuck.
Machine Gun Kelly was not in the book, though.
This is you don't say. This is This
that
is
changes everything.
Yeah, I mean for a movie for a book adaptation, solid.
Anyways,
Where was I?
Go ahead.
Identity crisis in the beginning. It's like kind of first of all, premise is really sick, and the visual effects or virtual or visual. What's the V
Both.
stand for?
Virtual.
Virtual.
Visual?
Virtual
No,
effects.
it's probably visual. Who cares?
Whatever. The effects are really well done. Whenever someone sees this thing that they're not supposed to see that drives them to suicide, their eyes like change into this weird like marbly kind of color scheme, and it's very I don't know. It's really cool. And the concept of people like killing themselves because they see this thing and no one knows what the fuck is going on is like so dark and fucked up that it's like right up my alley. The parts I didn't like were kind of like the beginning were just like, all right, like take yourself seriously or don't, pick a lane. And then, but the sentimental moments were really good. Like the moments between Mallory and boy and girl. Like I got teary eyed late in the movie with some of those scenes. So I liked it. I'm going to start this one high 6s, perhaps. Let me look at my scores to see. Perhaps maybe like a 6 and 9-ish. I think I liked it average or better than average apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Sandra Bullock was. I mean, I don't know. She nothing special, but didn't mind it.
Standard Sandra Bullock, but that's nothing to turn your nose up at.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, that's me.
Nice. I'm surprised.
I like the tone
Wow.
also.
Good starting score. I approve. Stamp.
You just spoiled your score.
How?
You said you approve his good rating. That means we know you're not going to give it a bad review.
Okay.
Ooh,
Do you know this kid?
shit. Shat.
He throws people off the scent. It's his job.
He's smart.
All right,
Okay.
Zach, what do you think?
I think the movie's pretty mid. I mean, I don't really care for it, but it's not bad. It being based off a book kind of changes. Well, I would go on like a hunch and say that I bet the book is just way better. I mean, I guess you could say that for any book versus movie adaptation, but I don't know, like it's the factor of like, I don't know, Dennis was like, yeah, it's a unique. I don't think it's unique at all. Like this movie came out in the same time of like A Quiet Place and Don't Breathe, where literally it's basically the same premise.
I'm
Like,
about to fact check the shit out of that.
like, well, the book was written in 2014, so that's what I mean. Like, if 2014 definitely came before, what year is
Both
that?
2018.
2014. did
Yeah, it's
come
like
before
literally-
2018.
The book came out.
2014.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, I bet the book was more unique and had more shit going on than like A Quiet Place. But the movie just came out in a weird time where it's like,
They might have seen A Quiet Place coming out, and then we were like, "Oh shit, we got to get
Dude,
this shit out.
honestly, it kind
Yeah.
of gives that vibe.
We got to ride the wave, strike while the iron's hot."
so yeah, like I didn't think it was unique. Like I'm not really a fan of these like adventure thrillers, maybe with some horror aspects of like depending on like a sense or something, or like a lack of a sense. Like I'm just not really into it. I think it's kind of a dumb premise. The only thing I do like is not unique is the suicide thing. Like this movie is literally The Happening. Like 75%, which is funny because you almost picked that, Dennis, a long time ago, and we vetoed it. But I literally like The Happening significantly more than this movie.
Wow. The Happening has much worse score, I believe.
The Happening's like
everyone
voted
says
one of the
shitty,
worst
right?
things ever.
Isn't that Mark Wahlberg? Is it?
Yeah.
He's the star of that. Yeah.
Like 'cause The Happening, it's the same thing. Like it has an identity crisis, and it doesn't like it should take itself really seriously. But at least in The Happening, like it explains why people are like killing themselves, and like it's a kind of a sick idea, and I think it's way more. It's just cooler.
But it's subjective.
movie.
It's like, do you care about the intrigue or do you care about the explanation? Because I kind of like the
all of the
intrigue
above.
of not knowing at this point. And there's a sequel, so perhaps we'll find out.
What?
To Bird Box?
Well, so there's a sequel to the book called Mallory.
Ooh.
And then, but they're making a sequel called Mallory that I'm assuming obviously is based off the sequel book that came out in 2020.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. This movie just doesn't really do anything for me. I just feel like it's a tired formula. Like that if you see The Happening and see this, you'd be like, yeah, those are like basically the same movie. For like most parts of it. The movie's kind of boring because like a lot of it, like Matt said, it's like this was the end where like a lot of it takes place in the house, and like there's some funny moments there. I mean, I don't know. It's not a bad movie. Like John Malkovich, I thought was really funny. Sandra Bullock, I thought had a good performance. Like Matt said, there are some like emotional moments where like surprisingly kind of hit me with Mallory and the one girl that was also pregnant.
Olympia.
Forgetting her name.
Oh, I thought it was Olivia.
Olympia.
Oh. I thought there was some like
Said no,
heartwarming
bitch.
stuff with them, but other than that, like the movie just doesn't really do much for me. Kind of just like a boring ride. So yeah, I'll start it out with a 5.7.
Wow.
It's not bad, and like I don't know.
Wowza.
I know when it first came out, a lot of people were just like dick riding it. Like, oh my God, you have to watch this. Like, no, you do not have to watch this. It's just an average movie.
Come on. Back in 2018, it was a fad movie.
A Quiet Place is significantly better. If you want to watch the same type of movie, just go watch that.
I actually want to know the exact timeline of release because Quiet Place probably read this book and they're like, let's make a movie, but change the sense.
Yeah, perhaps.
Exact release date. Literally no way to tell.
They're pretty. Yeah, they are pretty similar. While Matt's googling his gourd out, I'm gonna start my score off. I'm gonna say it's a 6.5 to start. I really do like the movie. Maybe I'm gonna rate it a 7 to start out. I think Sandra Bullock does a great job here. She plays a really good, regretful or like resentful mother. Because I guess we shouldn't spoil anything yet, but. Her character's played really well for what she was written. The child actors in this movie, not that bad.
Yeah,
and there were only like 4 or 5 or 6.
And they're cute.
They are pretty cute. Damn big ass eyes and everything. I really like the character Tom. I'm forgetting his name. Oh, Trevante something. He plays Chiron in Moonlight. I always really like seeing him. I just think he's cool and he's jacked as hell. So it's always fun to look at him. John Malkovich, excellent character, very funny. The premise, I'm with Matt, very, very cool. I'm so interested in whatever, spectral or supernatural force has manifested itself into this world. And just the sight of it pretty much just marks you with a death sentence. And it turns your eyes this weird, like Matt said, marbly pattern. And I like that it's just so damning that there's no way out of it. Like you are going to kill yourself by any means necessary. Very interesting to me. I like watching the events unfold as a result of that stuff. So this movie was kind of right up my alley too. And I like it. I haven't seen The Happening. Maybe I would like that one better if I watch it, but I don't really feel the need to know exactly why it does what it does. I just like the idea that it does do what it does. So I was very happy to rewatch this one. Like kind of like you, Matt. I was a little bit like, oh, I know it doesn't have good scores or anything, and I don't remember how much I liked it at the beginning or first time I watched it, but I was happy to rewatch it. I'm glad I did.
Yeah, nice. Did you
7
finally score? Okay, 7. All right, can we see your? Can you Take the blindfold off, Dennis.
I'm afraid.
We just want to see. We need to be able to have crazy.
Damn, it's bright in here.
All right, cool. Spoilers.
Yes.
Spoilers.
Anyone want to start us off with the spoilers? I guess I'll say the opening scene or like sequence was pretty tense. Like with just kind of like the initial appearance of the disease and like people running through the street and shit, and it was like, there's some. Oh, is that what was the very beginning scene? I wrote opening sequence.
The very beginning was like they keep cutting back between the river and then the like present and past. So the opening scene technically was like later in the movie when she's talking to the kids about training them for the river sequence.
Okay, no, I'm referring to
when she's with her sister.
Painting.
I'm referring to the. No, not necessarily that. I mean, I like the dynamic between Sandra Bullock and
Sarah Paulson.
Yeah, Sarah Paulson. She's great. But just like going to the hospital and getting the ultrasound, and then like that woman is bashing her head on the window. It's like, oh fuck.
Oh yeah, that was badass.
And then Sarah Paulson, like, I mean, obviously they're like driving through the street through mayhem, and then Sarah Paulson sees and she gets out and steps in front of a garbage truck. It's like, I thought that did a really good job of grabbing the attention, like early on, grabbing us by the cojones. And,
like the 5th grade teacher always says, you have to have a hook in your story.
Yeah.
And then this hooked.
Yeah.
Well, dude, if that's like you guys are into that, like The Happening just does it so much better. Like the suicides and like I'm not talking about like the explained part, but I just mean like in terms of that kind of shit, like the bashing of the head, like the way they kill themselves. The Happening does it in such like a darker way. It's just like holy fuck, and like it grabs your attention way more. It's just like insane.
Wait, so can we just start rating suicides? Like which suicides are better than the other suicide?
There's an objective scale out there for how
Trigger
cool
warning.
a suicide is.
Like one dude, I just have to talk about it and rave about it. It's so cool. Like he starts like a huge like self like lawnmower. It's not like a self one. You have to like it's the ones that you like ride. And like Mark Wahlberg and like the people are just like walking down this hill and the guy starts the lawnmower and he's like slowly, he's like in a daze, just walks and just lays down in front of it and bam.
Oh,
I'm
so
just like holy shit.
it's like a fucking
Final Destination.
Sinister meets Final Destination meets
I feel like
suicide.
better suicides for you just means like gorier and grosser.
More creative.
Well, yeah,
I
more
guess.
creative. Yeah, it's fun.
Eh.
I can see that, but
I
also
like artistic suicide.
God.
We're
We're gonna
canceled.
get fucking sued for this.
Yeah.
All right. So other than the suicides, did you guys like the beginning sequence, or was it like whatever?
Yeah, it was cool.
No, it was a good exemplification of like a good mayhem. The world is like starting to crumble as we speak, type of deal. Like you see this in like the Godzilla movies, kind of like in The Mist when like everybody starts to realize what the fuck is happening, and panic and sets in for everybody.
Yeah.
Very well done on this one.
Seen it 100 times, but yeah, this one did it pretty well.
Up to par.
I just didn't like how, and this was like the gripe that I mentioned in my initial spiel, how you go from that to like everyone's running through the streets, like chaos is happening in the States or wherever they're located for the first time. Like they've been seeing it on the news up to this point. Now it's like in reality for them. And they all bunker up in John Malkovich's house. And then it just like the tension just plummets. And like, I get that maybe, you're just trying to switch the mood, whatever, but it's just like, you had such a good thing going there. I feel like maybe they could have capitalized on that a little bit more. But it just went from like that part was so serious. Like I feel like I could tell that a lot of time and effort was put into the initial sequence, and then they get into the house and it's like Machine Gun Kelly like he's like, fuck man, where are my pills? And I'm like,
We're so fucked, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't know. That was pretty cringe for me.
Weird tonal shifts.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. How do you really? What's the best way to train? It didn't. It wasn't that good.
Yeah, I think it's just. Yeah, I think it was.
It's just the type of movie. Like I wonder what the book does, but like, it's just the type of movie it is. They're just locked up in a house.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
obviously you could go a different route where they're like traveling more outside.
Or it's just like more serious, and it's not. You don't have Machine Gun. Like literally, Machine Gun Kelly. The second I saw him, I'm like, now I know this is why this is a 2.8.
Oh god. Okay. Yeah. Well, so it's just because of it was him. If it was anybody else,
I'm just saying it's just like it's clearly not being serious if you have like some fuck punk who's just saying whose literally only lines are "we're fucked."
Yeah.
You know
True
what I mean?
that.
But whatever. It's not. It's
That
it's
part
just
is
a
very
personal,
cheesy.
Personal
That
taste,
portion
I
is
guess.
cheesy.
I wanted to talk about like the monster aspect and the like explanation, or in this case, lack of explanation of anything fucking going on. Because like I agree and disagree with you guys. Because like, yeah, like I normally prefer like it not to be explained, but this movie gives you just enough to make it really silly to me. And it's the same problem I have with A Quiet Place. It's like, dude, this is such a cool premise. And then as soon as I see the monster, I'm like, I'm out. This is so dumb.
Wait, the monster in what?
A Quiet Place.
What?
Oh.
That monster was great.
No, I think it's so silly.
What?
Like,
What do you
it took
want?
away all.
Yeah, but like
It's the same thing I
you
talk
just
about
wanna
all the
not,
time.
But do you just not want to see it ever?
He wants
No.
a Michael Myers.
Like,
He
you
wants a
want-
glimpse in the
you
background and
wanna-
then
yes,
never see it again.
I want.
You want to be able
The
to
more
see it.
I see of it, the less scary it becomes. That's just like
I know, but like, how many movies are you going to sign on for where you don't see it? Because part of the whole problem with this TV show on Apple called Invasion, I don't know if either of you have seen it,
I've heard of it.
but it's like an alien invasion, and the trailers look sick, but they don't show any shots of the alien for like the whole movie until like maybe the last episode or something.
That's sick. I love that.
But everyone was like talked about how that was a huge gripe for them and how they were like had a problem with that.
Yeah,
so I
it's
feel
hard
like
to-
you can only milk that like fear and intrigue for so long before it's like, okay, fuck you.
It's a skill. Get good.
You have to
Like,
not.
Directors got to get good.
I guess
If you don't
yeah.
see anything, if you don't get enough exposure to the scary thing, it becomes less scary.
Okay.
If you,
well,
if you didn't know it,
it's subjective, but also this movie goes against your point because this movie doesn't show anything.
Listen.
That's kind of true.
If breasts are way more intriguing before you've seen a nipple for the first time, and you can't even argue with that.
I'll argue that.
I agree.
Yeah,
It's the best part.
yeah. Wait, did I just counteract my point?
Yeah.
Did I just argue against myself?
Yes, that's
Fuck.
exactly what I'm saying.
Shout out breasts.
Okay.
No, but this movie doesn't show anything, so it goes against.
Yeah,
your
but if
point.
you never saw the nip, then you wouldn't care about the breast anymore. You need to know.
We're past the nip thing.
No, but why?
that's kid nips.
So we don't see the actual monster, but we see the result of the monster, and I think that is like scary enough. That is enough. It's enough breadcrumbs for me.
No,
I'm thinking with this invasion thing, all you're left with pretty much is like characters talking to each other about the scary thing. Yeah.
I don't even know whose
Well-
side of the argument I'm on anymore. I'm so confused.
well, because we're both like on different sides, but also kind of agreeing and disagreeing with each other. But I know Dennis and I already disagree with this because we had this conversation about with the Alien movie, where it's the same thing. It's like I need it to be like a ghost in the background.
That was egregious as fuck, though. Whatever. We don't even. All right, so let's get to your point about this because now we're talking about fucking Quiet Place, and that's.
Well, so this movie, unlike A Quiet Place, doesn't ever show the monster. But I guess my point is, as soon as I knew that it was a monster, I checked out. Oh, this is so silly.
As
to me.
opposed to what? Oh wait.
Lit-
Okay. Wait. A monster in Quiet Place? I'm so
I'm
confused.
talking about this movie.
It's not a monster necessarily. We don't know that.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a monster. It's a creature, thing.
Yeah.
spirit.
It's an
People-
entity.
People
But-
call it a creature.
But the one like another stupid thing to me is that like certain people like can like crazy people can have their eyes open and like not die, which doesn't make any sense. They don't explain that. And
But
then
it's
the one dude,
intriguing why that is.
it's just kind of silly to me without some breadcrumb of anything
I'll kind
to
of
give me
agree.
any information. And the one dude in the one scene, which I guess is kind of intriguing, like the crazy dude that John Malkovich didn't want to let in, the pregnant woman let her in.
Gary, he's called.
Gary. He's like drawing pictures of a monster like nonstop. Like he can obviously see it because he. So like that's when the movie's like, okay, this is like a creature and a monster. And I'm like, dude, it's just it's silly.
You're
to me.
extrapolating. You're extrapolating. We
movie's
don't know. That guy could just be seeing visions and shit. I don't. He's also a crazy person.
Like what was cool to me was like the opening scene you were talking about when everything's going to shit and like it was the first reveal that like when you're about to die, like they like see like dead like the one lady's like talking to her mom and then John Malkovich is like her mom's been dead for a bunch of years. I'm like, okay, that's intriguing, that's cool. But then as soon as like I guess the first moment for me when I was like, this is really, really silly and I'm kind of like out of the or just like kind of out of it was when they're in the car and like they're driving to the grocery store. They have the windows and windshield covered up. I thought that was kind of a cool little thing. So using the GPS, blah, blah, blah. But then like you could
hella
hear
unrealistic.
you could hear something. Yeah, no. You could hear something like on the roof and like there's like it's a physical force. I didn't
Yeah.
like that.
I kind of like it. It's like we clearly know that these things have some sort of mass because
Right.
you get the GPS or like what is it called, like
The
surrounding detection or something.
Yeah.
In the car, it beeps whenever you're getting close to hitting something. That goes crazy. So it's like some sort of like physical object with mass, I guess. It kind of shakes the car. It sounds like, but there's also something mystical and supernatural about it because we see like leaves levitating.
Yeah, it's
which
like
is cool.
Like some
whenever it's
sort of,
around.
like, wind element. Or
Yeah,
something.
I like to think of it as some sort of like black cloud.
But like, it doesn't make any sense because in random situations, it can physically interact with a human. Like at one point, like it drags the child.
No, that was Sandra Bullock's character bringing the rope back in toward the boat.
Yeah, facts.
Okay, that's true. But I swear there's another point where it does physically interact with a human. I'm like, if it can physically interact with a human, the blindfold gimmick is out the door because it can just kill everybody at will without an eyesight being a thing.
Yeah, I don't think it can interact with people.
Yeah, it needs to. Its power is in
The
the
message
psychological
it
and
spreads.
right.
I don't know. I just think the movie's silly. That's my point.
It is a little silly. It's a gimmick movie, kind of like the same way as A Quiet
Right.
Place.
I don't.
That
like
one was a little less silly, in my opinion, just because.
No, I agree. Yeah.
But I think this one's getting a bad rap from this end of the table over here.
I mean, I think the best way to think about this movie is like we all know the kind of bucket that it falls in, like the like what it's going for, kind of the audience it's made for, its target audience. For those movies, this is like decent. This is that's what I'm.
I
That's
agree
my
with that.
opinion.
Yeah,
yeah.
It did a good job what it was doing, and
Yeah.
I bet the book. I mean, if it portrayed the book in a good way, then I mean, it did its job.
I'm gonna try and read the book and then read the sequel before the sequel movie comes out. I'm
Let us
actually
know.
really intrigued, dude.
You're flying through books.
Yeah, I do be.
Hell yeah.
And dubiously.
What was the other thing? Oh yeah, let's talk about how unrealistic this is. Once I know how like we'll usually log our watch on Letterboxd before we talk about the movie, and then like we'll put in our score and like review afterwards. My review is going to be I can't even make it from my bedroom to my kitchen with my eyes closed. Like the unrealistic nature of being able to navigate with your eyes closed is fucking ridiculous. I mean, like
It's not that bad.
it's so funny too because like at the end of the movie. They find their way to the School of the Blind, and that's like it's kind of like this harbor or like
Safe
haven for survivors, and all these blind people that were at the school obviously couldn't see the apparition or whatever, and therefore were not plagued by whatever disease.
They run the world now.
But there's a scene where there's a blind woman walking with a stick, like just walking in a straight line with a stick in there, and then meanwhile, like every survivor outside this camp is fucking going over rapids and like doing the most insane navigation with their eyes closed or with a blindfold on. I'm like,
Well, the car sequences are so dumb.
the car sequence. I'm like,
There's so much shit in the
out.
road. You would
Yeah.
not be able to move.
And they're like perfectly driving around the car. I'm like, and whatever. It doesn't bother me that much. I don't think it's like
It's a
weighing
gimmick.
on the movie, but I just thought that was funny.
I think in this case, Matt, I think their safe haven was originally like a people with visual disabilities like institute, and that's why they survived, right?
Yeah.
So what was your point about like?
I was just saying how there was like we see this population of blind folks in there, or seeing impaired or whatever, and they're moving. And one of the blind women was moving through that space with like I don't know what you called those.
a seeing stick.
Okay, yeah. One of the is that actually what it's called?
Sure.
Anyways, she's a blind person. She lived her whole life like this, and she's in an environment that's like safe, and she's basically just like walking in a straight line in like a big room. And meanwhile, Sandra Bullock's like running up hills and down rivers and
Well, I guess
somersaulting and backflipping. And
to defend the movie a tad bit here, I think it's like a 6-year time jump. So I think it's trying to portray that like in 6 years she's just learned to adapt. And like I do like the point about the kids. Like the kids were raised in this environment so they might as well have been born blind. Like they're raised and so like, and I wish the movie did more of like showcasing just like that aspect, and like obviously the ending of the movie like showing like, you know, the blind people, like they're kind of, you know, this is not a problem for them. I kind of like that aspect, and like so I like the aspect that the kids grew up in. Like I wish the movie, maybe the book does, maybe it doesn't, but like that the kids are in theory should be better than Sandra Bullock's character at surviving, and like because like that's all they know. It's like once you take like you had a central life and get taken away, you're basically like handicapped.
Right.
Whereas if you're born with it, like it's all you know. You're not handicapped in a way. Like you that's just your life, and like you're good at living your life that way. So like I wish the movie would have been like showing that these kids are like kind of badass because this is their only way of life. Whereas Sandra Bullock's characters had to cope and adjust, and like so she should be like failing in a way. I don't know.
They kind of do a good
Right.
job at that. The kids are kind of hardcore, like
A little bit.
for the amount of shit they're going through. What did they cry like maybe once?
They
Yeah.
definitely should have died in the river though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Too bad they're built different. They were born into the blind world.
Yeah. I want to talk about two things. The first one being I guess I don't even know if we would call it a twist of Olivia's child being.
Olympia.
Oh yeah, fuck. Olympia's child being girl, and right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a twist.
I thought it was kind of maybe a little bit.
Did you get Did you feel like that was heartfelt at all, or I more so cared about her talks with the kids in general and
Yeah.
like the family unit discussions versus like the fact that she had took up Olympia's kid and was treating her as her own.
It was a neat way to like kind of marry the present day portion of the movie versus the 5 years earlier portion.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was nice, and it did kind of like explain how Sandra Bullock's character is like pretty cold, maybe a little more particularly in the girl's direction,
Mm-hmm. Right.
as opposed to like having favoritism towards her son that she knows is her son.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, that was kind of hard. Like whenever they're in that scene where she's like, okay, we got to talk about the rapids.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have to look. One of you children's going to have to look. And I'll say who it is. And the boy's like, I'll do it. She's like, no, I'll decide.
I know.
So-
I'm like, fuck, dude. That's like, I get where she's coming from, but that's so fucked.
I'm like,
it's
oh,
like,
you're
it's
such a C-word.
I know it's so bad, but then it
I
like
thought about
makes the scene later on where she's like, no one's looking. Like it's kind of corny if you like read it on a script probably, but I thought that was like really well executed and well acted, and I was
Yeah.
like I felt that I was like, fuck yeah, like let's go.
Yeah. That was a real redemption moment for her.
Yeah.
When she was like, oh, you could see it in the girl's face too. She was like, she's gonna make me
I know,
look.
right.
I was like, no.
Then she was
this
like, I'll
poor
just
girl."
I'll just say it myself so that she doesn't have to tell me. And
Yeah.
it's,
Oh
like,
my
the
god,
worst.
girl's a real MVP.
Yeah,
what a
girl is a
good
real
little
MVP.
kid.
Yeah, I agree. The movie like does a good job executing some of those heartfelt moments, like when
Tom,
I'm terrible with names. Sandra Bullock's character
Mallory.
when she like hands Olympia the like Hello Kitty little thing,
Mhm.
like as like I don't know. I thought that was a cute moment, and then the movie does a really good job of like when it reveals that like the reveal of girl being Olympia's daughter, not Mallory's
daughter.
kid. Like they cut immediately to the girl holding it.
Oh, I didn't see that. I was waiting for the moment where we saw her with the toy, and I must have missed it.
It like that's like that was the reveal. It just immediately cuts to her, and you're like, oh, that's her kid. And,
It
like
was
I
fast.
thought that was like probably one of the times that I got a little choked up a little
Yeah.
bit.
I also want to talk about the title, Bird Box. I feel like birds are obviously like partially central to this, but like I wouldn't even central is a strong word.
Yeah.
I bet they're in the book. I guarantee.
Yeah, I was
it's
gonna
way
say,
Much
more.
yeah.
more deal. I forgot why this movie was called Bird Box.
Yeah. So the whole premise, or like movie's called Bird Box, based off of Mallory has this box with birds in it that she found at the grocery store during the initial run when the disease kind of outbroke in the States, and the birds go crazy when the entity is around. So it's like kind of like a warning system. And then at the end, when they make their way to the School of the Blind, they have a fuck ton of birds, and they also act as a warning system for the sighted folks that are at that compound. So, but yeah, like very few. I mean, they definitely made a point to like say, hey, here are like the birds, and like there was kind of like this pseudo relationship between Mallory and the birds a little bit, but enough for that to be the title of the book / movie, and to not get that, it to not be more central, I thought was kind of odd.
I've been seeing a lot of content lately with like this idea of like something you can't really see, and then like a warning system, or like on like Death Stranding, literally half the game is you're trying to avoid like these stranded beings that you can't really see them, and so the main character has to have like this. It's really complicated, but like this device that flashes, and then like he has to stay away from it. It's kind of the same thing. I wish there was more of that in this movie. Like I don't know, they're traversing in the bird, like you said. I wish the birds had a bigger impact of like. She's like, the birds go crazy, like, oh shit, you got to avoid it. You got to go this way. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe the book has more of that. It's in the fucking name.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You guys want to talk about, Zach kind of brought this up and had some beef with it. The fact that the criminally insane, or the people that were previously insane prior to this viral outburst and into the world, these nutcases can, I guess, look at this entity or spectral being
Yes.
and have no effect. Like
my
they're
biggest
not
gripe.
driven to suicide. They're some of the people who can still open their eyes in the real world and not kill themselves upon sight of this thing.
But they're still infected, right?
I don't
Or, like,
think
quote,
they're
unquote,
Well, their eyes are
infected.
still fucked.
That's
Yeah,
true,
that's
but
true.
kind of in a different way. They
Yeah,
don't
but they're
become
I
also-
think they're
gray.
infected. That they just don't kill themselves.
I think so too, because they're like, you have to see it. It's so beautiful. Like
Yeah.
like it's not like they'd be saying that if they weren't.
That
Like they
Yeah,
have become like
probably
a
true.
vessel for the virus.
good
kind of
point.
thing.
Yeah, okay, you've converted me.
you guys think that's intriguing.
I think it's kind of cool, man.
Well, I think it's cool too, but like it's such a big deal in like movie altering or like world, like building this world up, world altering revelation that you can't not explain it. It's not one of those things that it's just cool to just like you have
There's
to.
a sequel.
I have
Keep
to
your
know.
panties on.
Okay, well maybe it's in the book too, but like you can't just show me that and then never talk about it. Like it's such a big deal to the structure of what's going on. In
so
this
wait,
world.
why is it not? What's not explained to you?
How the fuck they can't kill themselves?
They're crazy.
Okay, okay.
They're like the criminally insane. Like John Malkovich kind of explains this. That place where the criminally insane live that have now kind of broken out. Like Lil Rel Howery's character, Charlie, the black man that works at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
They go in there. They find this guy trapped in the loading dock. He's like, "Fish fingers, is that you?" "Oh, he's just some guy that works at the supermarket with me. He's crazy. He did some time at this one penitentiary." And it was the criminally insane place.
Yeah.
So people that have like diagnosable mental disorders, probably like schizophrenia or something, that's probably what saves them.
He's saying he wants to know like why that is.
Oh,
Yeah, like I also think it's cool, like the idea that like they think like this is so beautiful what's happening, like that's very interesting and intriguing to me. But I need to know
because they're actual crazy people.
that doesn't make.
The fucking no. So I mean, you also have to think about that. This is like a tale of survival in this one. So like now that they're settled down in the school of the blind, they can like do some war room scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Like more of the let's figure out why this is happening as opposed to like let me just try and make it from point A to point B and like not be living in fear 100% of the time. You know?
like I guess I want the big picture, like and.
I think we're gonna get it. Hopefully, if
It
we
just
don't, then
doesn't-
that's annoying. Yeah,
Because like basically what this like I want to know like thematically what this is trying, like what the book is, what it's trying to portray. Because like what it's showing me is that these crazy people with schizophrenia, whatever, like they're gonna control the world now. They're the only ones I can fucking see. They can go rob people. They can go like kill these. Like they can do whatever they want. And we saw that in the movie.
we're gonna find. What are you? I'm so confused on your gripe about like shit not being totally revealed immediately.
What do you mean immediately? This was a 2-hour movie.
But when there's a sequel involved, that's not like.
Well,
It's not like that's all we're getting, and that's the movie. It's not a full.
This
it's
isn't
not a full
this,
story.
This isn't Bird Box Part 1. When this movie came out, you go to the theaters or you watch it on Netflix. You didn't know a sequel was coming out.
No, I know that, but like, not every fucking movie is labeled part one. Like, it has to be successful for a sequel to.
This is a standalone movie for all intents and purposes because it's not a like. What do you mean?
Yeah,
this is a standalone movie.
it wasn't a sequel originally. Like,
No,
just look at the
I-
movie as
So
what
as
it
a
is.
stand-
I get
standalone
that,
movie,
but
you gotta
standalone
reveal some
movies
stuff
have
to me.
cliffhangers too.
This isn't a cliffhanger. It's world
Mystery.
building
For all
stuff.
intents and purposes, it's a cliffhanger for you.
It's not a cliffhanger.
It's an unexplained. Okay.
Oh my god, you guys are arguing over: is it a square or is it a rectangle?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm just saying, this isn't a new idea to like not explain things fully in a movie with the expectation and hope that a sequel will at one point come out in the future.
Yeah. Come on, you're fans of tons of movies that don't explain everything.
I know. This movie just doesn't. It just does not make any sense. You can't show me certain things that like completely alter like the whole purpose of the story.
You're impatient.
It has nothing to do. I totally disagree with you guys on this one. I'm going to stop. I think it's dumb. Let's move on.
So,
And that is how the Letterboxd podcast ended. Zach moved
well,
to
I still
plan.
don't entirely understand where you're at with this. So you want more explanation behind how the crazy people are how they're not affected?
Yeah, it's like my only gripe with that specific point.
Okay,
yes.
so maybe some like link between like the science, more reveal about what the evil force is and how it interacts with crazy people in specific. You want like scientific explanation?
No, it's just that is such an integral part to this movie.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
the fact that there's some people that can see, that is a huge deal.
I feel like
Integral is a strong word.
yeah, I don't feel like I kind of disagree.
It's
That's
definitely
not
like-
They run the world now. They're the only people that
Run
can
the
see.
world
They kinda
based
don't.
on what? They just drive. They can see. They can drive around, and they're trying to like get other people to convert.
Yeah, we only saw a total
AKA
of 5
kill
people
them.
of them together.
Yeah, but it's like, whatever. Zach wants a Big Short, Adam McKay style
It's not
where
about-
Oppenheimer
yeah.
pops up with a chalkboard and draws out all the signs behind.
Not what I want. Just doesn't make this movie doesn't make any sense.
All right.
I,
Honestly, just lower your score to a 4 and be done with it.
5.7 is good because Sandra Bullock's cool.
it's kind of like you're making the argument that like the zombies run the world now in The Walking Dead. It's not about that. It's about the survival
Yeah.
against that force.
I'm going to speak for Zach here. Zach is more interested in the reasoning behind that than he is about the survival story. Therefore, that's what he's
That's
saying
fair.
is
Honestly,
like
though,
a
that is-
problem.
That
the
is
survival
fair.
story is boring as fuck to me.
That is
So,
fair because I feel the same way about The Walking Dead as Zach feels about this movie now. I'm way more interested in like the outbreak and the
Yeah.
how things start to go down.
And that's fine. It's just like subjective. And I think
Congrats, I've joined your
while
team.
it's maybe an integral part of the movie for you, I think it was not meant to be an integral part of the movie from the director's perspective at the time.
No, that's
Of,
fair.
like,
I get
you know,
Oh
that.
my god, we are the full spectrum of points here. One end, the other end, and I see both.
This is a good team. Teamwork.
I see both. All right, now that we've argued about that for 15 minutes, anything else? Any other?
Did you
thoughts
guys
on
catch
this?
the David Dasmalkian cameo?
The who?
You know the guy that's in every movie? Pull up David Dasmalkian.
Oh, the Asian guy?
He's not Asian, I don't think, but he plays not scary.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, this guy
Yeah, he's
is,
in weird movies like all the time.
He appears everywhere.
Yeah, that's
so
he's
funny.
in The Dark Knight. He's in Oppenheimer. He's in Dune somehow. He's in Blade Runner 2049. He's in Prisoners. He plays Polka Dot Man in The Suicide
That's
Squad.
funny.
He's
I didn't know he was in Dune.
he's in the Weird Al biopic. He's in the Boogeyman.
Hey, he just shows up.
Dude, why is he everywhere?
That's so funny.
He's like my sleep paralysis demon
Yeah,
that just
so
appears
funny.
everywhere and
Yeah.
I cannot escape him.
His father is Iranian American. You said he was Asian, so
No, I was thinking of a different character.
Oh, the
Asian guy that killed himself in the office.
yeah. He also does appear
Via
everywhere.
camera, which also that made me mad. I was like,
yeah,
the camera should
that
have
was
worked.
kind of bullshit. Yeah,
There's no way that thing can kill you through
I agree.
720p pixels.
True, and now all of a sudden we do understand this.
We know the
monster.
science. We're smart. We know the signs of the disease. Yeah, that's funny that you call that out. He isn't just everything for no reason at all, and he always plays like the sketchy, creepy
Yeah,
fucking guy.
always.
And he
'Cause he
he
looks
looks the
creepy.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, a little short thing. But again, it's just another thing that it doesn't have to be explained. It's not even about that. It's more just I thought it was dumb. Like, and they do it with the Asian guy in the office. I'm like, why don't they wrap these people up after they see it? Like, let them see it and then wrap them up and like make sure they can't kill themselves and like study them.
That was like
Study them, like try and understand what's going on. Like, I don't know.
that is kind of like cheesy. That's what happens in a lot of horror thriller-ish movies where we as the audience clearly know there's a solution. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, given
Yeah.
everything that we as the audience have seen throughout this entire movie, why didn't the people actually in this situation just do X, Y, or Z that would completely solve the problem? We can't have our cake and eat it too, but I agree. Whenever they were wrapping this guy up in the office and he still found a way to kill himself, it's like,
yeah.
okay, just run it back, try it again,
Yeah.
and maybe bubble wrap him and put him in a straitjacket in a
Well, yeah. I
bouncy
mean, they
padded
tied
room.
him to the chair. You're saying they should have done more,
Well,
or they like handcuffed him to the chair, or whatever.
yeah, but of course he still kills himself. I'm like,
He still
You-
found a way to whack his
Yeah.
head on a
Yeah.
rock.
I
I'm just
guess.
like, obviously you want to study these people, know what's
You're
going on.
yeah. I see the angle you're taking here, but unfortunately, it's just not going to work.
I don't give a fuck about the survival aspect.
I
It's
know,
just boring to me.
but
He wants to solve the
he wants
mystery.
every
He's in the mystery machine.
You want every movie that has some sort of like scientific intrigue to be like to be a sci-fi movie, and that's just not.
that's my cup of tea.
I know, and I don't blame you. Like, it's definitely interesting.
Because
but
I don't
you have to-
disagree.
you have
This
to,
is an
like-
intriguing,
Yeah.
whatever. It's
Yeah.
an intriguing story. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's cool,
but you have to accept the movie for what it is.
and I don't like the movie because of that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, just like you said, it's like it
But
takes place
saying-
in the
but saying
house
that-
for half
yeah,
the time.
But like, it's like borderline invalid. Maybe invalid is not the right word. Unfair to say for like a negative piece of your review to be like, well, I wish I could have got more of this, but
Well,
like that wasn't even like.
There's a
They
lot of
would have
movies
never done that.
That's frustrating. Where the like premise or like something happens and the idea is so cool, and then the movie just like doesn't go after that. Like that leaves me wanting. It leaves me frustrated.
Yeah.
Like I can't help that feeling. Like I think Snowpiercer for you, like it's a cool thing, but then the movie sucks.
I know, but it's not like. I guess it's just you have to review a movie for what it is or what it set out to be versus like what you would have preferred.
Nah. You're right.
No,
No, I'm not
Well,
not like a strict line on that. Like, not like a hard line to
Yeah.
follow. But I'm just saying, like, you can't go into. I don't know.
Well,
I'm not
let's
gonna be able to
say
come up with a good analogy
let's say
on
this
one.
wasn't, because the fact that it's based on a book kind of throws my argument out the window. Because obviously it's a
Right,
it's a
yeah,
movie
yeah.
movie adaptation.
I would venture to say that a lot. Of
But
this
let's
is
say
explained.
this wasn't based on a book.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like this movie is just extremely frustrating because I just don't like the story. It's a cool premise and it just like
Yeah.
it doesn't.
It's okay
It
to
doesn't
want-
utilize its premise.
It's okay to want a movie to be something else and think it's bad because it's not.
I don't.
But you have to be able to say.
I don't even know
I don't
who
know
I
if-
agree with. On
I
this
don't know
one.
if that's. I
gotta
don't
think
know if
about
that
it.
is valid though.
Okay.
To a degree, it's valid.
I agree, and we could totally say Snowpiercer. No, that's bad. It's okay to say Bird Box is bad because you wanted it to be something else. You would have liked something else way better, as long as you can say what you would have liked better in it. You would have liked more explanation as to what this monster is, and more interaction with the explanatory part of it, not necessarily.
Let's focus on the survival crap and more.
Yeah,
just
more-
like a sci-fi-esque adventure. I don't know.
But that's like not what it was intending to be. So why would you say it's bad for not being that? You know what I mean?
because this is about what Zach likes.
That's like if I, to use a famous proverb, judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree.
Yeah, we should start doing that more.
But when the movie gives you bits and pieces and that's a tease. That's a good word, I guess, to explain it. It's a big
Yeah,
tease. And there's a lot of movies out there that are like that I've given negative, or not negative reviews per se, but have dinged a movie for.
Yeah.
Because it's just teasing me. It's a cool premise, and then it just does something. Like, I don't know. There's like a movie in my head, I can't think of the name, where just like the most badass, like cool sci-fi, like premise, and then the movie is just about like two people in a room.
Yeah.
It's like it's just the biggest tease. You're
It's like
wasting
they-
my time.
It's like they put a yolk or an egg on your head, but they don't even let the yolk run down your back.
Office reference, people. Sorry, Dennis.
Oh, also, I forgot to introduce burrito.
Oh yeah.
This is the burrito that I mean, we used to throw this around in the apartment, and that was like basically the only reason that it became relevant. But we used to have this on all the pods back in the day. Now that we have video evidence, we have to show the burrito.
Welcome back, Rito.
I had to get away from that by diverting to burrito. All right. Anything else, motherfuckers?
It's really no. I agree with you, Zach. Here, you can judge this fish's ability to climb a tree because you would have much preferred, a fish with arms and claws and talons and
Yeah,
opposable
this is
thumbs.
actually that's like a perfect way to put it. Like, you would never expect that out of a fish. So why would you say like this fish should have legs, and because it doesn't, it's a bad fish?
Because Zach lives
It's not
in
a
the
bad.
treetops.
It's a bad. It's like saying, oh God, the movie's bad in this fantastical or like in this fantasy version of it that I have in my brain. It doesn't stack up to that. But it's not like it's bad in what it was trying to do. Whatever. It's a tired argument at this point.
I don't even know whose side I'm on here.
I know. This is literally an ethical dilemma.
I've turned you away from your own opinion by agreeing with you.
They're going to be talking about this in film in film schools for years to come.
This is a new philosophical argument here.
I know.
I have no idea what the right answer.
Wait, can we talk about Sandra Bullock also? Is she like?
Oh yeah,
Is she worth?
dude, she is worth.
'Cause
Wait,
I
what do you
feel
mean by
like-
worth? She's hot.
Well, we know you think that, but is she? I mean, I feel like Sandra Bullock is kind of on an all-time list. Do you guys agree
Sort
with
of.
that?
Yeah.
I think so.
Does she deserve that?
Probably.
She's just like, it's weird how she's like not in like a lot. Like she's not in a lot, but she is in a lot. If that makes sense.
She's
I think
in
that's a lot before our time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
So
like when I
that's
think of
valid.
her, all I think of is The Proposal, which is a great rom-com, and The Blind Side. That's the only two movies I think of
Yeah,
her.
that's fair. All right.
If you pull up her
Sorry,
picture
Miss
on
Bullock.
Letterboxd, it looks like she's like a picture taken 20 years ago. No, I think she does a really good job.
She's hot in this movie,
Yeah,
especially with the
she's
short
just
hair.
able to convey a lot of emotion. In The Blind Side, damn, she was really good still.
Yeah, she
in-
won an Oscar for that.
That movie's
Yeah,
also
of
canceled
course.
now. We learned that Family
Yeah.
was terrible.
Who could have seen that coming? In this movie, she plays a really good, distressed out, cold woman. Like from the very beginning,
Mhm.
she's upset about her pregnancy because I guess it was an unwanted or unplanned thing. Her partner ended up not being all he stacked up to be. She really has to come to terms with the situation she's in, even though she's not the biggest fan of it, and she has to like kind of fight it along the way. I think she does a good job of growing from this cold, kind of bitchy woman. She's mean to everybody around her and never lets anybody in.
She's jaded as fuck.
Yes, jaded, perfect. And then through the powers of Tom,
Friendship and
and a stallion of a man.
Yeah, right.
Who's 26 years her younger in
Her junior.
Yeah, thank you. In real life, she comes to love and know what it's like to care for a family. She does a really good job.
Dude, I was so
That's
mad.
actually true. Her character arc is
Yeah,
good.
I liked it. It was interesting. I was so mad when it's like 6 years later, like towards the end of the movie, and Tom is still jacked as fuck. It's like, bro, you're
Dude,
surviving. Like,
I noticed
you're
that.
not working out like you used to. Like, there's not protein just sitting around. Like, you're literally like, it's a survival movie.
You're
like,
not.
You got to find food. This dude is not that jacked.
He
6
is
years
not
later.
blindfolding his way to the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He still looks so shredded.
That's
I'm
so
like,
funny.
why are you jacked?
Still has an 8-pack.
I didn't think about it from like
His
the logical
arms-
sense.
I was like, bro,
But
what?
you can tell that in the scene where he's like on the walkie-talkie, he's got like his fucking arms
His
like flexed
traps
and
are
his
flared.
fucking,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh god, this is so cringe.
But I did like
That's funny.
I did like the like his not redemption arc, but like the badassery. But he was like, you know what, I'm gonna sacrifice
Yeah.
myself to save the family. Takes off his blindfold and had just enough time to kill everybody. That was kind of cool.
Dude, that's why this movie could have been so much better, just because those moments were so good. The family unit, I'm like here for that. Like, it didn't seem like it was a corny like relationship between him and the kids or like any of those family members. But then you just had like a bunch of bullshit at the beginning. Like, I don't know. It's really a shame. I guess you had to. I don't know. This had to appeal to general audiences, and
It did.
and it has to also be like action adventure thriller while being sentimental.
Mhm.
But
Most people are in love with someone at some point in their life, and then this movie had to appeal to those people.
yeah, right. Fuck.
I really like how this movie doesn't really deviate from the rules it sets up, which is always a good thing when you stay true to like the world and environment you kind of set yourself up for. Meaning in the sense that when there's nobody that like couldn't see this thing before and not kill himself. So Tom, for example, had to hide himself from this monster because if he looked at it, he would kill himself because he's not crazy. He's not one of those insane people that can, in Zach's opinion, randomly see it for no reason. And then when he finally does, sure, he does hold off long enough to kill the final aggressor, but then at the end, he still does kill himself. Like, he didn't have any, for some reason, Jesus moment where he's like, oh, I can see it, but not kill myself from the power of love and protection for my family. It still affects him. I like that he follows the rules still.
Yeah.
That would have been a real shitter of a moment. That would have taken me out of it and probably made this movie bad for sure. If it violated its one policy that it made itself.
Yeah, that'd be
Right.
straight corn.
Yeah. So, are you guys? Would you watch the sequel to this unprompted by a pick for the podcast or some other?
Unless you, in celebration of the movie, pried my eyes open to force me
you
to
wouldn't
watch
watch it. That's the
No.
only reason. You're gonna get answers.
You watch it and tell me if there's answers.
No, I'm gonna watch it and make you guess.
I just like. I mean, as intriguing as it is, I just still at the end of the day don't care that much about this movie.
Fair.
Simple.
I don't know what I think about there being a sequel to this. I feel like self-contained, it's fine enough. And it's called Mallory. So I don't know. I don't really give a fuck about Mallory so much as I do, an extension of this Bird Box universe where there is still events unfolding in the wake of
Right.
this new world.
That's why I'm not watching Furiosa. I want Mad Max 2, not a Furiosa story.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. But I feel like Furiosa is going to give us enough of that. It's still going to be in that world. It's going to be about the character. Maybe Mallory will be too, but I kind of like more... who knows?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much of like an origin story or like character study Mallory is compared to giving us some of the answers that maybe we hope we got in this one. I have a feeling this will end up being a trilogy though, of books and perhaps movies too.
Maybe.
Look up the author still writing.
Well, the book just came. Yeah, that's true. I guess it's
If
been
Sandra
3 years
Bullock
since
doesn't
it-
come back for it, I probably won't be as interested either.
there's no way she doesn't come back. Yeah, she must.
Yeah.
Yeah, God knows nobody's ever been recast before.
Do you know?
Do you guys know Jacob Black? Taylor Lautner from Twilight? He was almost recast after the first one.
Really?
Yeah. Do you listen to that Call Her Daddy Zoe? Zoe's nodding in the background.
But who would have replaced him?
Wait, who almost
Some-
got recast
Some dweeb.
Taylor Lautner,
in
Twilight. Yeah, he almost got recast because in the first movie he was like a real scrawny, long-haired guy, and then the second movie he's on steroids.
He's ripped.
They just gave him steroids instead of recasting. Is that
Well, no,
right?
he started lifting ASAP, and then they pretty much fired him. But then he was like, "Wait, no, I got Jack."
Yeah, he was going to be replaced by Chris Evans, Matt.
Jacob, you're white now.
That honestly would have been. It wouldn't have been bad for Chris Evans' career. It would have put him on his true path.
Come on. Jealousy's a disease. Get well soon, honey.
Damn.
Sorry, that was maybe insensitive.
He was perfect in Scott Pilgrim because he played himself. Side antidote there.
He plays.
I just said antidote instead of antidote. Y'all take note.
You also have this habit of like calling actors by their plural first name and then their last name. So you've said Daniel's Craig before. In the Napoleon episode, you said Vanessa's Kirby.
Oh, I do remember Vanessa's Kirby.
That's too much marijuana smoking in my teens. That's ruined my brain chemistry.
You're also
all that is.
You're also a big fan of knowing what the right pronunciation of a word is and then continuing to pronounce it wrong on purpose, like biopic and biopic.
Oh yeah, I'll always say biopic.
It's phonetically biopic.
I mean, no. What is it? See, I'm confused now.
It's biopic, but you
I
say
biopic. Yeah, I'll always say biopic.
Oh,
that makes no sense.
No, you said biopic. In a
Dude, I definitely heard biopic somewhere, and
I probably said biopic. I thought that was the scientific term.
Like a biographical picture. Biopic.
Biopic.
Yeah.
I get it. But biopic sounds cooler.
It looks like the word myopic.
It looks the same as biopic. All right. Any? Do we have any treasure hunt Easter eggs in this?
Just a couple things. We kind of touched on it. This movie was maybe pushed out in the same time as A Quiet Place to kind of catch on to the hype and ride that wave.
Oh, I found out The Quiet Place came out like 6 or 7 months prior to this movie.
Yeah,
Ouch.
so maybe they did kind of rush a little bit. Boo. But production to this movie started way before A Quiet Place.
Well, the book was written in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
That's embarrassing because this was John Krasinski's directorial debut, and he cranked out a much better movie in what sounds like a shorter period of time and got it to the theater 7 months ahead of this.
Also had a sequel.
Yikes.
Josh Malerman, which I believe is the writer of this movie.
Malerman.
Malerman.
I hardly
I
know
hardly
her,
know
man.
her, man.
Or wait, no.
Sorry.
Was he the author of Bird Box?
Yeah, he was the author.
Okay. The author of Bird Box, he wrote this book, or the first drafts to this book, before The Happening, even.
The first draft?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
When was the book
but it
released?
wasn't 2014.
No.
Book was 2014.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay.
But
that's just what the internet says, though. So
M. Night wouldn't have known.
My info is only as good as my sources.
M. Night wouldn't have known that first draft. The Happening came out in
you know what?
08.
M. Night is such a visionary genius. He probably had ideas for The Happening out the womb.
M. Night is the entity, so he could see. He's all-seeing.
Dude, honestly, that would be so funny if the monster was just M. Night Shyamalan's face. That would drive me to suicide.
It's yeah, whatever. I was gonna make a stupid joke, but
I'm picking The Happening.
Don't
right now.
You got pissed when he picked it.
This movie made me want to watch The Happening.
So well, go back and watch it, and then remember how bad it was, and then come back and report. Thanks.
Again, only as good as my sources here, but IMDb did say that there were cuts of this movie where they did show the entity, the monster, and that was
tested poorly.
Probably.
See?
It was described as little green aliens with the face of a baby.
Dude, I'm pissed that you just said that, actually.
You just ruined everything for him. Because that means that's what it is in the book.
That means that's what it is.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
They wouldn't just shoehorn that in there.
Even if it wasn't, even if that was not what it is in the book, I now know
that was their intentions.
Right.
Ouch.
Okay.
Big ouch.
What happened to looking at a movie for what it is?
We should have engaged re-spoil. We should have doubled down on spoiler mode for that one.
Okay.
They're going to be in the sequel.
You spoiled something that didn't even happen.
What happened to you looking at a movie for what happens in the movie?
You pre-spoilered. Huh?
What happened to you looking at the movie for what it is in the movie? Like, Zach, you were getting on Zach's case
I'm just saying, like, the intrigue moving forward is now diminished because I know in my mind that they're little green aliens with baby faces.
They're literally not. Look at what happens in the movie. You don't see them. You don't know them. The pictures that the guy draws on his coffee table are black
But if they are
spludges.
ever exposed, that's what they're going to be.
Probably not. It tested poorly. Why would they do that?
Well, then it's not.
They literally removed it from this
movie. True to the book. Then
they removed it from this movie so that it didn't look stupid and
put
dumb.
your blindfold on. Get the fuck out.
Go read the book.
You guys are such babies.
Wait, we should test this. Put your blindfold on. We'll see if you can make it outside.
Okay. Honestly,
Time
it's not that
trials.
bad.
He could
so
do it.
in this movie, they do a really good job of like kind of showing you Sandra Bullock's point of view, and you can kind of like make out in between the stitches the light sources. Like I can see kind of Matt's head because it's white on his black top, and I can see over here Zach's got a white-ish shirt with black squares on it.
Everyone, this is a white shirt.
It's cream and brown.
Okay. Well, through this stitching, it is black. And I can kind of see, like, I can see the light clearly. But yeah, it's not that hard to see. But I do like the fact that you can kind of see a little bit because in the movie, it kind of explains the way she's able to navigate kind of well.
Definitely not the rapids, though.
Also, the guy in the rapids that's like trying to.
Yeah, that was.
There's no
weird.
way.
Why is he just wading in the water like a freak? Like, is he just living in the river and like catching fish with his bare hands and eating them?
Did you miss the part where he was a crazy person?
I mean, yeah, obviously.
But like, there's no way she could fight
like,
him without seeing.
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
I agree. The movie had to continue.
And who had a gun? She had a gun, or he had a gun?
She had a gun. She's just popping shots off, which I guess is realistic, but
she can't see.
No shot.
Literally no shot.
He was a crazy guy that lived in the woods. That's a tired trope. We know all about those.
She has a better shot of 3.
Why is he living in the river though? Why is he in the river?
Because he heard her boat coming down.
I guess that's fair. He could have seen her and then went to the water, like saw her down the way. But she had a better shot at 360 no scope off the top of Rust than popping one off on him blindfolded.
That's true.
Literally. All right, we ready to sign, seal, and deliver this, or any?
I'm ready to sign off once and for all.
We can float this one down the river.
All right, final scores. Zach, I'll let you go first on this one, bud.
Thanks, bud.
Oh my God, can we please start calling each other bud obnoxiously like all the time?
Dude, I like saying buddy. It's like kind of demeaning in some senses, but like
that's so funny.
I feel like if you know that it's not demeaning, then it's goated.
I'm gonna make you critically self-aware of this, but you do this a lot. You go, oh, and boy did we, or and boy.
I literally do not say boy like that.
You say, oh boy, did we pay the price?
Oh, I probably say oh boy.
Yeah, oh boy is a thing.
Yeah, like you use that as like a little pause in between your point.
I also say very well.
That's your go-to. You haven't said it in a while. Very well.
I definitely said it on there.
Which very well, like that, the way you say it comes directly from Harry Potter. I forget what the character is, but he goes very well.
The bank gnome.
Yes.
Goblin.
That's what that's from.
Yeah.
Because he says it in the exact way you say it.
Hagrid goes.
Did not come from that.
Hagrid hands him the Sorcerer's Stone and goes, "They got this from Dumbledore." And he goes,
"Very well."
Very well.
Very well.
He's got
it's like a very dark.
I love how every single one of us trying to emulate him did something completely different.
Yeah.
GG's memory.
Right chat.
Right chat.
I just had to throw in a right chat.
What's a right chat?
Stop.
Dennis knows.
Final scores, please.
Oh God. All right.
It's an inside joke.
I'm gonna stick with a 5.7. It's not a bad movie by any means. I think 5.7 is right on line with Letterboxd too.
Basically.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie by any means. It's just not my cup of tea. To our big ethical dilemma that we were arguing about earlier, it's an interesting, intriguing premise that just is basically a survival movie. Well, that was the movie I was thinking of when I was making the comparison earlier. The Creator. Such a fucking badass, cool sci-fi premise with AI taking over, and then it's a babysitting movie. It's like we all dinged it for that.
But that you can get upset about. You can get upset about that. That's valid because that's like within the genre of. This wasn't Bird Box was not as much of a sci-fi movie as it was like a thriller.
Still teased
Survival.
me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like it still teased me. Big tease. I just wanted something different, I guess. But I mean, John Malkovich kind of makes the movie for me. He's funny. I mean, I think acting all around was good. Like Machine Gun Kelly didn't even bother me, to be honest. I like the characters, but just I don't know. Just movie didn't just do much for me. Sorry. So yeah, stick to a 5.7 in terms of recommendations. I mean, I guess I recommend it to everyone. They made this movie for a general audience. I'm sure everybody's already saw this anyway.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. If it bada bings, it bada boom.
Stop.
We're gonna have to put you down one of these days.
Please.
I'm a little conflicted on this.
Oh no.
I think I have to stay below a 7. I think giving it a 7 would be too rich.
Agreed.
Honestly, I hate looking at this now because it's like I feel like it has to wedge itself between a movie that I like more and a movie that I like less.
Yeah.
But, like that's bullshit. You know, I think you said recently you really can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, but you gave The Killer a 7?
Yeah. You'll trap yourself into some bad scores.
The Killer was a much better movie than this.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I gave it a 7. And I'm giving this one a 6.9.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I know. Right as it came out of my mouth. Whatever, dude. Fuck looking at this.
Yeah.
This feels like a 6.9 in my heart.
Good.
It was enjoyable. It was more positive than negative, and the positive parts were pretty strong in my opinion, and the negative parts were like, yeah, I would have changed it, but it wasn't like game changing or breaking for me. So I like the theme, I like the concept. Sandra Bullock, I guess, was pretty solid. The kids were cute. The effects were cool. The tone was dope. 6.9.
Yeah, good. Big kudos to Trevante. I don't know his last name. Sorry. Guy from Moonlight. Jack Stallion, who has zero muscular atrophy whatsoever in the apocalypse.
Trevante Rhodes.
Yes, thank you. He's always cool to see. John Malkovich did a great job of bringing some comedy to the tension in a tasteful way. Always love seeing Machine Gun Kelly get his rock soft.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock also did a great job. Pretty good acting all around. Writing, pretty good. Story, good. Good mystery, good survival movie. I'll recommend it to everybody, but everybody has probably already seen this as well. I kind of trapped myself into a bad score with the 7 because I was looking at my stuff from other movies. But in my heart, like you said, I'm going to start ranking things with my heart like you.
Boo.
This is a 6.5 because it's above average and a good time, and I enjoyed it.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
even though it's lower than my initial review, I did like it more than I'm probably scoring it for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so, I mean,
6.5 sounds like a bad score to me.
Oh.
But
No, I mean,
I
that's
think
what
it's
I
a-
would
it's
expect
a
for something like this.
Cool.
We're all in the same realm.
it is a thumbs up.
We're
Just
not
one,
far
though.
apart.
We're all like basically within a point.
I just don't like green alien baby faces.
Yeah,
creatures.
dude, fuck you for that. And fuck you for repeating it, because now I would have forgot.
I want you to
All
think
right,
about green
you need to get
aliens
over
with
this
baby
on your
faces.
own. This is a you problem.
Thoughts? Zach?
Why does
Whose
someone
side are
ca-
you on? You
I
have to
don't
pick a side
care.
with this.
Well, yeah. The fact that that's what they initially intended means that that's probably what the creature is.
And then they made the great decision to take it out.
But
So
I think
can
you got to read the book though. If the book says green alien baby faced creatures, then
I feel like it's got
bada
to,
bing, bada
because
boom.
why else would they come up with that bullshit?
Movies adapt shit from the books all the time and don't get it right. Mullet fingers from the book Hoot.
You think I know anything that you're talking about right now? You might as well just have been talking in Russian. Mullet finger?
Yeah.
You don't know mullet finger?
What the fuck is a
Mullet
mullet
fingers
finger?
from Hoot. He had a buzz cut
I
in the
don't know
book,
who
and
it
then
is.
he had, I think his name Cody Simpson or something. He had long, flowy blonde hair in the movie.
Cody Simpson, the singer.
Maybe. Who knows?
I
He
used
was
to
like
like
some
him when
Disney
I was
Channel
like
ass
8.
actor.
Yeah, I like Cody
Yeah.
Simpson. He was a phenom.
A phenom, a young phenom. So my pick, but unbeknownst to you, potentially, me and Zach did a
Swap.
historical pick swap.
You guys be talking in the DMs, leaving me in the dark.
Sorry.
My feelings get hurt.
I just like to have the live reaction
Why doesn't he get a live reaction? Oh, I guess you had
because I had
to.
to record it.
Yeah. I had to pick something.
What else can I get mad about here?
So I'm handing it over to Zach to pick his movie.
Thank you. And I'm gonna do what Dennis is known for. I'm gonna offer up 2 options.
Dude, I am here for the Democratic.
Make it quick.
Really?
I'm sweating. My armpits are really stinky.
I didn't really preface or think about how I was gonna phrase this though until just now. I got to do this on the spot.
You have to give us little teasers of each.
Okay, so 2 options. One is a certified, like one of my favorite movies, badass movie. Been waiting to do it on a podcast for a very long time. Excited to talk about
Keyword badass. Think about that. That's the biggest giveaway.
it. It's really not. But yeah, that's one option. And the other option is from a certified great director. We've done, I don't know, we've done 1 or 2 of his movies on the podcast before. Like this next part I can't say, I'll spoil it, but it's a movie that none of us has watched of his, which is weird that we haven't. But I
Ooh.
kind of
Wait.
the way that it's like it didn't get great reviews, and it's kind of sus. The movie seems kind of sus.
It's
But-
sus. We haven't
but-
seen it, but it's
but-
sick. But we gotta watch it.
It's sus that we haven't seen it, but also the movie potentially could be really sus. So I'm up in the air about picking it, but we have to see it at
Whatever's
some point.
further away from Star Wars. Give me that.
I vote
So
for
the first one was Star Wars: Force Awakens. Second one is The Last Jedi.
I vote for the blockbuster or whatever.
Oh, wow.
The first option.
Dennis,
I
you're
voted for the second option, so you're the tiebreaker.
Fuck.
Now you get to choose your movie.
Ugh.
You have 30 seconds. Actually, you have 10 seconds.
This sucks.
3,
I wanted you to make up my mind.
2.
All right, I guess I just want to get this movie out of the way. We got to watch it, so I'm going to pick the sus one, the potentially sus one.
Go.
Alex Garland,
No.
in honor of Civil War, his
Fuck
future
me.
movie coming out. We're watching Men.
Men. Cool.
Whatever. No, this is good. This is
Okay.
good. You made it seem much worse than it was going to be.
Yeah.
I would have picked Men if I knew it was Men.
What was the big hullabaloo about?
Wait, do we get to know the other
Because
one,
the
or are you
movie,
just pocketing that
based
for
on
future
what
use?
I know off the movie and it's some of its reviews, it's sus. But it could also be great.
It'd be a good
since-
discussion. It'd probably make for a good discussion.
Yeah,
Are you pocketing the other movie, or can that be revealed?
pocketing.
Okay. Fuck, it's always pocketed.
All right.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of your favorite movie podcast. Click the link in the description to check us out on socials. Also, announcement, we just relaunched our YouTube channel, so check us out there to see our faces.
Woo!
And to see this motherfucker wearing a literal blindfold for the first 20 minutes plus of this episode.
Plus. Emphasis on plus.
We'll catch you guys on the next one. Be safe.
Bye. Keep your eyes closed.
Later.